Want to have huge raids and big loot in Ghosts of Tabor? Well, here's 5 tips and tricks to help you do just that. Tip number 1, always bring a backpack. You should always have a backpack on you whenever you start a raid. The first backpack that you can buy is super cheap and holds a decent amount of stuff. Since backpacks aren't commonly found in raid, you might end up with a bunch of items to extract with, but no way to hold them all if you don't bring one. A backpack is always worth the low price. If you don't bring one, you're losing out on a lot of potential loot and gains. You should probably come in with a gun too, even if it's just a pistol, and an extra magazine in your backpack. You might want to try to do the whole 0 to hero budget run thing and try to find a gun in raid to use. That's up to you, though bringing a gun of some kind is a very good idea so you can at least shoot a Phoenix member and take their gun. You don't want to bet on finding a slain enemy with their weapon just lying next to them before enemies find you. You might also be thinking that you just want to go in with nothing, so that you risk nothing and can learn the maps. If that's what you want, then keep listening. Trust me, there's a much more fun way to learn the maps. Tip number 2, use training mode to learn the maps and warm up. If you're new to Ghosts of Tabor, then the maps and how they're all laid out with loot spawns and extraction points might be hard to figure out at first when you're constantly worried that another player is going to sneak up on you and get you. While you do have a compass that tells you what direction the extracts are in, it's still kind of hard to find them on some maps like Missile Silo. When you're ready to leave, you're going to want to find an extract as soon as possible. Well, you don't have to risk your equipment to learn the maps. Each map in Ghosts of Tabor has a training mode that is the exact same as a normal raid, except there will be no other players and any equipment gained and lost is not saved. When you die or extract, you'll have the same gear on you when you get out as when you went in. Training mode is a great way to warm up by fighting some Phoenix and to get your bearings on each map before you risk it all in a raid. Tip number 3, selling guns is easy early money. As far as what you bring out of raid with you, selling guns is the easiest way to make some early cash. If you get a pistol from a dead Phoenix grunt, just pop it in your backpack. Each will sell for a few thousand at least, much more than most of the loot items that you'll find in boxes and crates, though you should keep checking boxes and crates too. You can also complete Phoenix kill quests while you're at it for more money and vendor reputation. If you're wondering what sells, then guns are always a safe bet. You can carry a long arm on your chest and a pistol at your waist. You also extract with whatever's currently in your hands, as well as what you have stored on you. So if there's some guns really close to an extract, and you don't think there are any enemies between you and it, you can carry 2 additional weapons in your hands, and they'll appear with you when you respawn in at your safe house. Be careful though, finding Phoenix members to get their guns means you'll make a lot of noise and possibly attract other players. Tip number 4, keep your eyes and ears open. Especially when you're sorting out equipment or stuffing items into your backpack, make sure to always listen for gunshots and footsteps. Your ears are the best way to know if enemies, especially other players, are very close to you. While looting as quickly as possible is always good, if you hear quick footsteps or gunshots near you, it's better to not risk being caught by surprise with your backpack in your hands. Either leave if you want to avoid a fight, or have your gun up and be ready for one. While hearing is great, especially when in close quarters, the sounds of footsteps don't go extremely far out in the open. So when you're playing on more wide open maps like the island of Tabor, make sure to keep a lookout and check behind you from time to time. Try to stick to areas with foliage and objects that break lines of sight to you. An enemy could be sneaking up behind you with a rifle and shoot you before they're close enough for you to hear them. Tip number 5, turn off full body for easier looting. One of the biggest additions that VR brings to the raid shooter, extraction shooter genre that can't be found elsewhere in games like Escape from Tarkov is that you have to physically handle items and loot. Picking items up off of the floor can be especially tricky if you've got the full body model turned on. While the full body model looks really cool, the legs have an annoying habit of blocking your view to any items on the floor. Unfortunately, you can't just move your legs out of the way like you can with real legs, and so it will be much easier to pick up items if you turn the full body model off and change it to hands only. Of course, if you're wearing gear like a vest or a backpack, that can still get in the way, but what can you do? Anyway, there you have it. 5 tips and tricks for Ghosts of Tabor. If you found these tips helpful, please leave a like. If you have another tip of your own, feel free to leave a comment. Good luck in your raids, and may your stash always grow larger. This has been Reality Remake.